Hello, I'm Candace Dorsey, and I am a cancer survivor. 2019, I was sitting at home on vacation when I noticed a lump on my right breast. I thought I was kind of overthinking it, so I had showed my kids and let them feel it. I was due to go back to work that Monday, so when I did go back to work, I let a staff member, a RN, feel my breast. And the look on her face was concerning. Um, I kind of felt I knew something wasn't right. She consistently in her office was making phone calls to get me to go and get further testing on the lump that I discovered. How did it go? So I went to diagnostic imaging, and by the time I got back to work, they they had called her and told her that it was suspicious. So then the RN that I was under her care, she then scheduled an appointment for me to get a biopsy, and that was the following day. From the biopsy, it came to be that I had triple negative breast cancer. It was a lot to take in at the moment, but me personally, I felt that this was something that I had to beat and overcome because 4 years prior, lost my mother due to cancer. Um, Coming to tell my family about it was hard, um, but I wanted them to keep their head up. I wanted them to be strong with me because this was something that I felt was going to be beat. And I did. I beat it. I beat it with the comfort and love and the support of family and friends, co-workers, amongst other people as well. The journey through it all was intense. It was hard, um, but I didn't give up. There was times wanted to, but then when I looked around me and seen all the love, I said I had to keep on going. Um, I started off with chemo. So I started my chemo October 2019. After my second round of chemo, uh, I went on ahead and cut my hair. I had dreads, longer dreads than what I have now. Um, and then a week after that, my hair started falling out. Um, that was kind of heartbreaking. I mean, growing dreads, it took a lot. But it's part of chemo. Um, Chemo took a toll on my body. Um, my labs were always off track. Um, I ended up getting neuropathy. I ended up using a walker during chemo. At one point, I had got real sick. Um, Ended up with COVID during chemo, and that was very hard. Uh, Let me see. So I finished my first round of chemo. I believe it was somewhere around December. My second round of chemo I finished, it was February 2020, and I rang the bell. Thereafter ringing the bell, I end up getting a mastectomy. Um, and I felt comfortable. I wanted both breasts to be removed, but they told me they can only do one and I can come back and get the other one done. I ended up getting, what do you call it? Breast reconstruction. Um, I ended up getting the deep flap. The deep flap is where they take parts of your abdomen and form another breast. That was pretty excruciating. I was in the ICU for 3 days. Healing process was good. Woo, radiation is the devil. The radiation was the worst part of it all for me. The radiation burned part of my esophagus. The radiation burned my tissue in the front, and it radiated toward my back. I would wake up in the morning on my radiation appointment days and cry because I didn't want to go. But I went. I got it done. When I laid on the table, the radiation didn't take no longer than 15 minutes. But the outcome of it was hard and long. The healing process was long. Throughout going through all of that, I had my gallbladder removed. My magnesium still drops a lot. At times I have to get magnesium infusions. But the cancer is gone. I recommend that if you know someone with cancer, going through cancer, or have been through cancer, keep their heads up. Stay on them. They might not ask for help, but always lend a helping hand because it's a tough and long road to recovery.
Thank you. Okay, so Auntie, what is triple negative breast cancer?
Triple negative breast cancer is a cancer that is hard to treat. So the oncologists have to really go in and try to find the right regimen to treat it. Yeah. That triple negative is a very aggressive cancer.
With your outcome of beating it and ringing the bell, congratulations again.
Thank you.
How does that make you feel mentally?
It makes me feel like there is nothing that a person with cancer can do but to stay positive. I feel that if I were to become negative with cancer, that it would eat me up. So I feel really good and blessed.
Okay, good.
Hi, my name is Conesha Stewart, and I am a cancer fighter. On May 17th, I was diagnosed with stage 3 triple positive invasive breast cancer. About April 27th, I was cleaning up and I felt a huge lump on my right breast. I immediately called my mom and let her know, and then messaged my doctor to see if I could get in to see him as soon as possible. They told me about a week I could be in, so I went to urgent care. But there was nothing that they could do there, so they referred me to the emergency room. And there was nothing they could do at the emergency room, so they sent a referral to for me to get a mammogram. They told me they were booked out for a while, so I messaged my doctor again to see if I could get in with having family history of breast cancer. They got me in a week later, and when they did the mammogram and the ultrasound, they noticed something suspicious and said that I needed to get a biopsy that same day. I immediately got scared because in my heart I knew what it was already. So they biopsied my right breast and some lymph nodes under my arm. And they both came back positive. I met with my treatment team about a week later, and they came up with a treatment plan of chemo, surgery, and then radiation. My tumor measured 9.5 centimeters. which is about triple the size of what they're used to. I started chemo on May 25th. And I had to go every 2 weeks. And then after 4 cycles of that treatment, I started another treatment of chemo, which was every 3 weeks. And I just rang the bell on October 5th. I am scheduled for surgery in November. I'll still have to go and get 2 drugs for targeted treatment every 3 weeks. And I just started that again yesterday. So I have 2 young kids, so it's tough and it's hard. And there were many times that I said that I give up. I told my doctor I didn't want to do any more chemo. But going home and looking at them, I know I had to keep fighting so I can live a longer life with them.
You want to take a break?
So on November 16th, I will be getting a double mastectomy with expanders. So, and also they'll remove multiple lymph nodes from under my right arm and behind my breastbone. They told me I didn't qualify for a lumpectomy, which would just be them removing the lump because of the size. After surgery, they'll determine whether or not I need radiation based on whether there is residual disease, or if I'll even need more chemo, or if I'll continue with the specific targeted treatment that they already have me doing, or if it'll be something different. It's hard, and I still have a long road ahead of me. I will also have to take medication for 5 years, because with not necessarily the triple positive, but the HER2 positive side of it, the first 5 years are the chances of reoccurrence are much higher. So I pretty much have a 5-year fight ahead of me. So, but I'm gonna keep going for my kids, for my family.
And for yourself.
And for myself.
All right. So what is the difference between HER2 and triple positive?
So HER2 is a part of the triple positive. Mm-hmm. It's the estrogen receptor, progesterone receptor, and the HER2 is human epidermal growth factor receptor. So the HER2 part it's proteins basically that grow faster than they're supposed to. So
how is this all mentally? Are you going through it and everything?
It is tough. It's really hard. Like I said before, I almost gave up a few times. I talk to my kids about it. They understand that I'm sick, but not how sick. So some days I can't even get out of bed. Like, to fix them breakfast, to get my son ready for school, sometimes I can't. And while the doctors are like, and that's okay, it's not okay because I have kids. Who else is going to take care of them if not me?
Hello. Once again, I'm Candace Dorsey, and I am a survivor.
I'm Conesha Stewart. That's my mom, and I'm a fighter.
So it's been like a trend for us. In 2015, our mother passed away from cancer. 4 years later, I had cancer and survived.
And then 4 years later, I was diagnosed with cancer.
I was diagnosed with stage 3 triple negative breast cancer, and it had spread to my lymph nodes.
I was diagnosed with stage 3 triple positive invasive breast cancer, and it also spread to my lymph nodes. We got genetic testing done. Yours was
So shit. Excuse my French. I don't know.
it basically showed that genetics
Are not
are not,
involved.
yeah. So, but that isn't to say that there aren't genes that they haven't tested that could possibly be positive for both of us. Yeah, they haven't tested all the genes that are involved in breast cancer. So, as of right now, we don't know if it's genetics or not.
So is this like a mystery to the doctors that right now, as far as they know, you both have been diagnosed, you both have it, but you have two different types of breast cancer, and it's not genetically linked between the two of you? What are the doctors saying about that?
Basically, exactly what you said. They said that our genetic testing shows that it is not a factor that is.
Yeah, genetics don't play a factor, basically. I don't know with mine though, because it could go further back in our family history. So we don't really know unless we look at genetics from other family members too. So
Another thing about the genetic testing is when you get it, if they have something that's inconclusive, ask them to check on that. Because they do the main, like the HER2, the BRCA, the progesterone, and everything. What about the check 2? What about all the other little genes that are down there? And if they're inconclusive, ask them to recheck it. Something.
Why did both of y'all start at stage 3? I always think that it will start from 1 and then like as it progresses it'll go up. But
so the way they explained it to me is that it's based on the size and the type of breast cancer. So, and it's early detection still, even though it's stage 3, it's still detected early.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was, to play off of Davisha's question, I was thinking, well, they caught it in stage 3. So is that not the case? Did you go through stage 1 and 2 being undetected, and it got caught at stage 3?
More than likely, because
Yeah.
it basically goes stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4. And stage 4 is the last stage. December 2018, I had a 3D mammogram, showed nothing. June 2019, I had an MRI, chest MRI, showed nothing. By August, that's 2019 is when I found my cancer. So my cancer spread that fast.
So it was very aggressive.
Yes.
so what does like with having cancer, what does a day in your life look like?
I mean, everybody is different. A lot of people live their normal lives. Sometimes with the chemo, it can have you doing nothing all day, like in bed all day. Pain, just exhausted. The slightest thing for me, walking to the car can take all of my energy. I had to quit working because the chemo was taking everything from me. So Yeah, just tired every day.
There are days to where chemo can make you feel like you've been hit by a truck or you got the bad case of the flu. Getting chemo can also give you a memory blog. It's like, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? What medicines makes you forgetful? It causes neuropathy. It messes with your labs, your immune system. It really takes a lot of your livelihood away from you. Um, Especially the types of chemo they give you. They, for me on mine, and I think for Conesha on hers, they hit us with the hard chemo first. Um,
Mine was the second.
yours
part
was,
the
yeah. Mine was, my first round of chemo was, it was everything, you know. Um, I had family members come sit with me. I had, for the most part, it was Conesha and my sister Claudia. Denise came. I mean, I was surrounded by family, which made things a lot easier for me. And I do feel for those who are going through cancer who don't have anybody, because I feel that everybody going through that needs somebody.
So can y'all explain one, what a chemo treatment actually is,
Mm.
and two, the types of chemo that you all had to get? Because Candy, I remember with yours there was a term red devil.
Yes.
So can you give the audience some insight into what a chemo treatment is, how long it takes, and what type of chemo did you two get?
So for me, my first four were THP, Taxol, Herceptin, and Perjeta. Um, it took, it was about 3 hours each time. Could be longer because they have to do labs, and a lot of times that takes a while for the results to come back, so they'll know the dose they can give you, or if you can even get it that day. I have a port where they actually, instead of doing an IV in my arm, they do the IV in my port. It's a lot easier to access instead of the veins, because sometimes, what is it called? When
They blow.
yeah, they'll blow. My second four were AC. I don't remember the name of those two, but one of those does include the Red Devil. That one, they'll sit in with the syringe for 10 minutes and slowly push that through the IV. That one was the hardest. That one, one of the reactions I had to that was it felt like I had a sinus infection, a really bad sinus infection right after I finished. Well, but right before I finished it, I had about maybe 15 minutes left with the infusion, and it would feel like I had a sinus infection. With the first four, with my second infusion, I had a reaction to where they had to stop and slow it down. It was like an allergic reaction almost. And then my third one was fine. And the fourth one, I had an allergic reaction to that one as well. So it was almost like I had too much in my system at once. But they did really good with slowing it down or stopping it until the symptoms went away, and then starting it back up at a slower rate, and everything was fine after that.
How long were you there when they were stopping and having to wait?
I was there almost all day. So I would go around 9 and I wouldn't leave until probably about 4. So
Yeah, getting chemo is whether you're there for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, it's an all day experience. Excuse me. You go in, you see the doctor, where you get your port or your IV access. Um, You meet with the doctor. You have to wait until your labs come back before they even start the chemo. Um, Once your labs come back, they will give you what is it? They will give you something for nausea and something for an allergic reaction in case you have that. So that runs for like 30 minutes. Then they'll start bringing your chemo back, whatever regimen they have for you. Um, I know there was times where my labs came back, my chemo was almost done, and I had to stay an extra 2 or 4 hours because my magnesium was so low. So that was like an 8.5 hour day laying in this bed getting infusions.
Because it's not just chemo that you get sometimes based on your lab results.
Correct, correct. Sometimes they give you fluids. If your iron is messed up, you get iron infusions. Um,
With me, I was scheduled every 2 weeks to also go in and get fluids, which is another hour. So, well, not every 2 weeks, twice a week to get fluids to make sure my hydration was up. And also for the second meds, I had to go in the day after each chemo treatment to get a shot to keep my white blood cell count up.
This might sound like a crazy question, but do they put y'all on some type of diet when you have cancer? Like, is there certain things you can't eat that'll like trigger anything, or is everything just?
Some doctors will, but a lot of doctors will tell you to eat whatever you can tolerate because a lot of times you lose your sense of taste, your sense of smell. You get this nasty taste in your mouth that makes you not want to eat or drink anything.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the taste, I wanted to eat to keep the taste out of my mouth. So it was like I was constantly eating. A lot of people lose weight with chemo because they're not eating. So no alcohol because they say that helps the cancer grow. So, or to interfere with the drugs. So
my question is two separate questions for both of y'all. So Candy, do you still feel the, I don't know if it's symptoms or effects of when you had it?
um, as far as feeling any type of way with cancer, I have like the neuropathy because my magnesium is still not where it's supposed to be. It drops. Um, but no, I always tell myself if it came back, um, I probably wouldn't do radiation. Not to scare Conesha. Um, I would ask a doctor to try to do things different way.
I got you, sis. We're gonna go holistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it really takes your livelihood away. Yeah, and they fill your body with all these toxins to kill the cancer. But what about you? No.
Mm-hmm. And then Kanisha, like, do you feel differently from when you was first diagnosed with it?
I do. Um, Nausea is almost a constant. Like, and then I take 7 to 10 pills a day, going from taking nothing to taking all this every day, morning and night. And then having to remember it because, like she said, chemo brain is real, so it's alarms for everything. So I was originally supposed to get a regimen called TCHP, which is Taxol, carboplatin, Herceptin, and Perjeta. But there's a nationwide shortage of carboplatin. So instead of my doctor starting me on that and then not having enough for me to finish it, she just switched it to THP and then AC. So
What's AC?
AC is the second part of the regimen that I got. The adriamycin and Cytoxin.
So at any point, like, can you tell them that you don't want to do it anymore? Like,
Yeah, it's your choice.
so they wouldn't.
They would recommend that you finish it,
Mhm.
but it's your choice whether or not you want to continue or.
Would that affect anything for you to start and stop? Like your body had adjusted to kind of you doing it consistently to not doing it at all?
It wouldn't, because there are some times where people can't finish, like having allergic reactions or their body just can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
So they just can't do it.
Before they start you on all this, you have to go through a stress test to see if your heart can handle what they're getting ready to give you. And I want Conesha to mention how it affected your tumor, how all this affected your tumor.
So midway through my chemo, so after the first 4 cycles, I had to get an MRI. That MRI showed that my tumor shrank from 9.5 centimeters only to 9 centimeters. So, but what they're saying is tumors shrink in different ways. It could have flattened like a pancake, or it could be like a Swiss cheese effect where the chemo is putting holes in the tumor.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, compared to before, it is really soft. I can't feel the tumor anymore. Of course, the doctors can still feel it, but it's soft. Like.
So, what was y'all's reaction to finding out, like when Uncandy, when you found out Conesha had cancer, and Conesha when you found out Uncandy had cancer?
When she called and told me, I immediately started crying. Because of course I wasn't educated about it, about the treatment and stuff like that. So I'm like, am I about to lose my mom? Like.
Yeah.
When I found out Conesha's diagnosis, it really hurt me. For Conesha's diagnosis, I did cry. I know what I just went through and how hard it was, and I didn't want to see my daughter go through the same thing that I went through. As far as when I found out that I had cancer, my feeling for that was that I was gonna beat it. You know, the doctors asked me if I needed to see a psychiatrist. I refused. I didn't need to see a psychiatrist. My feelings for myself was that I was numb, and I just knew that I had to beat it, not only for myself but for my mother.
Okay, so how did you feel when you found out your diagnosis?
I was scared. I seen what my mom went through, so I knew that I could get through it. I knew I had a strong support system, but I was scared. I don't do well with pain, being sick, so yeah, I didn't know how any of this would affect me. And I had, the day before I felt my tumor, I had just got hired for a new job. So I didn't know how it would affect that.
So what advice would y'all give to people who are going through cancer, who have a family member that's going through cancer, people who just found out that they're diagnosed with it, and just so on and so forth?
I would say for the family members, if you have a family member who is going through this, stick by their side. They need all the support they can get. If you can, cook meals for them, because getting up and fixing your own food is hard. Even eating is hard. For those that are going through it, stay strong. It's hard, but you got this.
There's resources out there, use them. They're helpful. If your family member, you or your family member are diagnosed with somebody, get the genetic testing done. Get mammograms done. Stay on top of your health. Catch it before it catches you.
And also, is there any way that anybody can support y'all with going through this? Like Conesha, I know you have a GoFundMe.
Yes, I currently have a GoFundMe, and I also have a YouTube page, which will be posted. There aren't many videos up yet, but I do plan on posting more videos soon.
Okay. So I would like to thank both of y'all for coming on to the show. I really appreciate y'all for coming on and sharing y'all story and sharing y'all strength with everybody. And I know for me, this episode is just really informative and very special because I don't think that I've heard as much detail about y'all stories as I have today. So thank y'all so much.
And thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Of course. I love y'all.
Love
you
you
too.